Hi, welcome to Cooking with Abba. Today we're not going to be cooking, but we're going to look at accommodation, student accommodation, especially in Finland. If you come in here, these are the things you need to know. These are the things you need to keep in mind. This is most importantly how most of the student accommodations look like here. So today we're going to take a lot of accommodation options. Yes, in there. I had a problem when I was coming as an international student because sometimes when you search for student housing videos, you don't really get very good kind of tour or how do I say how the realities are on the ground. So I'm going to share some of my experiences, some of the things you shouldn't do, some of the things you should take in consideration when you're doing these as well. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share as well. So first and foremost, I'm in Vaasa, and in Vaasa the main housing agency for the student accommodation is VOAS. Usually the prices are a bit cheaper and better than the private housing, and usually it comes with your accommodation type would usually have your electricity in, and you may just have to pay that with water, which is paid per month at the beginning of the month, like the first week or two. And usually you have a lot of services in there as well, like laundry, like sauna if the building has. Yes, depend on the type of accommodation you are in, and it has different accommodation types in there as well. So I started shooting this video honestly for last year in the winter, and I'm taking you first and foremost to the family apartment. So if you have a family, here you can actually come with your spouse. So if you have a family, one of the best options is to use the family apartment. And usually the family apartments can be 2 bedroomed, which here is like a 3H. So over here they count it per room. So if they say 3H, that is actually like a 2 bedroom with a hall. If it's a 1H, that means that it's just one room, self-contained, or a studio. If it's 2H, that means it's a room with a hall. Yes, so that's the thing you need to know here. So the fact that they're seeing 3 rooms, they are not counting bedrooms, they are counting the rooms or the area spaces in there. So usually when you enter, you have the kitchen, which is always set. And one thing about Finnish accommodation is usually the kitchen always has a fridge, freezer, as well as an oven in there. So that is one thing you need to know. And for this ones, because it's top and down, it's a storied building. The base is where you have a storage something, and then in the bathroom or in your washroom, you'd get your toilet, your bath area, and all those things. You have to buy your own curtains. You have to buy your own washing machine if you want a washing machine, because in the student apartment they have shared washing machine or washing areas, which you just have to book to be able to use in there. You don't pay anything extra when you use the washing facilities in there. So this is one type of family apartment. Yes, some would have the hall at the base, some also don't have, depending on the type you're actually going in for. And usually the family apartment, they come unfurnished. Yes, or you can also decide to go for a furnished one. That would be more expensive or depend on you. Because usually when you go for a furnished apartment, you'll be paying for furniture every month. It's not so much, but then you pay a bit for furniture, you pay a bit for the table and chair they may give to you and all those things. So usually most people like to go for the family apartment unfurnished, and it's not really scary furnishing your things here, because you can get a lot of your furniture and stuff from either the second-hand shop as a student, or you can even do that on Facebook Marketplace, or in the student flea shop or flea markets in there as well. So it's not really so complicated in there. And like I said, some of the family apartments, you can also have the 2 rooms at the top, and then the base you can have like the hall in there. It depends on the type you're actually choosing. So when you're choosing, just be careful. Like I said, they count it H. So the hall is counted as a living room or living area, which is added in there. Now there's also the shared apartment, yes, which is not the family apartment, the shared apartment. So this is a 2 bedroom shared apartment. Fortunately, here, when we say shared apartment, the tenants have their own rooms, which is separate. Yes, but you share the bathroom and usually the kitchen. And if there's a hall area or something, you share that as well. So, like I said, usually this one is in Kekla, which has the old Kekla, yes. So the bathroom was separate, like the toilets, the bath, and like I said, there's no washing machine and all those things, because there's a shared washing machine in there which you can actually book and use dependent on you. So when you're actually choosing your accommodation, it depends on how much you really want to spend. Yes, it depends on how much you really want to spend, because that will determine the facilities you're going to get access to. The reality is that the queue also sometimes takes long, so it's good you start your application early and know what exactly you want to pick. Then that helps you in as well. Then we're going to Aventier, which also has more student apartments, and this is a bit different from the one we just saw, because in this one you see more space in there, even in the kitchen and in the setup. Yes, so usika betre where you're going to go. Usually the names are there for your meals and stuff, and when you enter, this one has more space, so this one's price is a bit higher than the one we saw earlier. And like I said, usually they can come finished or unfinished. Finished means that you're going to have some bed, you're going to have some tables and chairs, and maybe some sitting tables and chairs in the kitchen, which you're going to be paying a little bit for the furniture use. But the fridge and then the oven or the stove is always in every finished apartment. So you don't need to bother your head about. And you would have to buy your own plate, cutlery, and all those things. Please, those ones, don't expect it. You buy your own plate, cutlery, and everything in there as well. Then, most importantly, just also note that there will be no microwave or anything like that. So you would have to actually buy that yourself. But typically, they are very much decent. And like I said, you can buy from the flea market or the second-hand shop as a student to cut down your cost, or you can buy from the main shops or the main supermarket as well in there too. So, like I said, this one has bigger space. You realize that this one, you can actually even do like a hall or something, put some TV there or something there, and it has more space than the earlier one we just saw. So, depending on the floor space and then the amenities you want, you can actually go in. So, this is also a 2-bedroom shed, which is like a 3H apartment. So, the H means there are 3 rooms. Don't forget that the hall or the living area is actually counted as a room. So, this is a 2 people sharing apartments. So each person has their room, unlike in some parts of the world where if it's a shared apartment and you guys are using the same room, maybe different beds or something. But here, no, shared apartment means we all have our separate rooms, but we would use maybe the bathroom and the kitchen together, which I think is very good, like on the privacy level and all those ones. So you get very good view also to outside and stuff. Yes. And usually all the rooms here, they have the heaters, the district heating and stuff. So during the winter, you know they are still kind of covered. The wardrobes are there for use, yes. Even if it's unfinished, you definitely get some. Usually you may get the fitted wardrobe thing in there, yes. But then usually if it's unfinished and you apply for it to be finished, you're just going to get the bed and then the table and chair for learning, which you'll be paying some token every month together with your rent in there. So that's one thing you should keep in mind. And when you go to the bathroom, you realize that this is a little bit more spacious in there. So that's why when you're applying for your student house and something, you'd always see the floor space, the floor size, because you don't expect a 30-meter cube and then a 40 to have the same kind of space and amenities in there. It's the same amenities, but then there's the space in there. You realize there's a bit of difference. And like I said, the shower curtains and stuff you'd have to buy. Those ones don't come together with it, so you would have to actually get those ones in there as well. And washing machine won't come in as well, because there's a shared washing machine, which we'll see very soon after we check out the studio apartment or the 1-bedroom apartment. We're going to check that as well, and then we'll check the laundry room, and then you can actually have a look at the general like area as well. Now, there are other students' accommodations like Lakan. Yes, so it's not just VOAS we have here. We also have Lakan, which also has some good flats in good positions in the city as well. So in Vaasa, you have VOAS, you have Lakan, you have other options as well as a student. And then you also have the private accommodation. So in a separate video, I'm going to take you to a private accommodation. I stay in the private accommodation. So Lakan is also here, and this is like their setting here as well. Please, when you're dealing with the student accommodation people, be very careful. Make sure that one thing I've learned very well and very hard here is when they give you an offer, don't reject, because when you reject, you are going to go into the queue and it's going to take you forever before you get. It's very hard to get the student accommodation thing. So please just make sure that you know what you want, then you just fill your form properly, then it gives you that opportunity to get what you want with less stress. If I had known, I don't think I would have had that much stress or struggle with accommodation when I came. So that's one advice I would give. First and foremost, it's good you've watched this video, you know your options, use that to decide when you're applying for it. And when they give you an offer, don't reject. So this is Lakan, and this one has a bedroom, and then there's a bathroom space, then there's a kitchen space as well. So this is more like a 2H apartment. So there's one bedroom, and then there's a whole living area kind of apartment. Yes, or better, so you can even call it a studio if you want to call it like that, because technically, but most studios are kind of straight and open. Yes, so this one, you can see that the bedroom is kind of separated from the living area or the hall, and it has a cute bathroom as well, and which has your bath area and then your toilet area. Like I said, the shower curtains and those things, you are going to buy it yourself. Yes, don't expect anyone to give those to you. And yes, usually they could come finished or unfinished. Finished means that there'll be a bed. If it's unfinished, you can buy your bed as well. And like I said, those things, like in Finland, one thing I like is that you can actually get very good furniture and stuff at very cheap prices at the second-hand shops or even on Facebook Market. So that shouldn't be a worry for you. And yes, we're going to the very popular student accommodation as well, which is also owned by VOAS. This is at Olympia. Yes, so Olympia also has there are the student apartments by VOAS. A lot of them is at this Palusari Brando. There's also some at Suvilati, and there's a big chunk also in Olympia and a few in Teriniemi. Yes, so those are like where you find most of it. And Olympia one is very close to the Olympia. There's a school by that side where there's a field. So usually the internationals on Saturday mornings, they play some football and all those things. And one thing about the student accommodations is that they are very close to like the universities, most importantly, and then they are also close to like the supermarkets and the shops as well. So now let's go to our one bedroom apartment or a studio apartment. So for the studio apartment, usually it's just one person. Yes, but if you're a couple, you can actually apply for a studio apartment, which is also very good. Studio apartments, everybody kind of wants studio apartment because of the privacy and things. So sometimes it takes longer for you to get a studio apartment than a two-bedroomed or a shared apartment. You can share two, three, four, five. They have different shared options in there as well, so that you'd get the living area, the bath area. Like I said, the washing machine won't come. You can buy that yourself. You can get that on Facebook Market if you'd want. And this is a very simple studio apartment by the student housing as well. And the shower curtains and those things, I've mentioned it quite a lot of time, because sometimes people come in with expectations. There's not going to be plates, cutlery, and all those things for you. You'd have to buy your own things in there as well. And these are very cute. Yes, the basic things you need is in there, and your meals and things will come through your door. You won't get any microwave in there as well. You can buy that yourself. The bed, like I said, you won't get a double bed though, please. This one is two beds. I think the person bought two beds and placed it there. So you would have to actually note these things. And so back to the city space, back to Aventier at Palisari Band. One thing I like about the student apartment is, well, they tend to have the boards, which gives you direction map as to where you are, as to which buildings are close in there. The family apartments, some are also there, and they have it in different types. And like I said, it depends, one, on the size you want, the amount of money you want to pay, whether you want to have the furniture in or not. Those are all going to complement it. So they share the laundry room. That's why you have to book before. If you don't book, you may not really get any how do you call it, free time, unless it's after 10 p.m. or something. But would you want to go and do laundry at that time? So usually it's good to book before that, before you go there. And it has the washing machines, it has the dryers. There's some washrooms in there if you want to like use a washroom whilst you're there. And there's a little kitchenette there because you may be doing your laundry and maybe just chatting with friends or networking in there, having some, good bonding time. Yeah, so that is the student laundry room, which is available. It's a shed and it is free. Everybody can use it. That's why you have to book. Then you use as well. And most importantly, there are basins in there if you want to rent something, if you want to do some manual washing or something. The basins are also in there. There's also the folding table there to help you out if you want to do a little bit of ironing, that is also available as well. And just outside that is a post-note lockers in there as well. So this is the student apartment at Palusari Bando. How it looks. The one we showed earlier was around Olympia. Then we also, yes, Olympia, Suvilati, Teriniemi. They also have for the student apartment in Vaasa. So this is pretty much in Vaasa, but in every town, like in Jyväskylä, in Turku, in Helsinki, they also have their own student apartment. I think Helsinki is HOAS. VOAS is for Vaasa. Turku has theirs as well. Oulu has theirs as well. Lapranda has its own. So it depends on where you're going. You can actually check it out. And they also have storage for bicycles. Those ones are also there. Those also goes into those containers as well. So like I said, don't make sure that one, you know what you actually want. Do you want to do a shared apartment? Do you want a studio? Do you want a family apartment? Just decide on that first. And then based on that, what you want to then do is to consider how much money you want to spend or how much money you have at your disposal, and then whether you'd want to rent the furniture or not, or you want to buy your own furniture. So the next video is on private accommodation, private housing options, which is for students and non-students and everyone at large. Till I see you in that video, do live life to the fullest. Be joyous, be merry. Lots of love from my team and I. Mwah.